Okay, guys, welcome to today's next level session. We do these Mondays through Thursdays at 2 p.m. currently, 2 p.m. East, the cool coast, East side. What do we have today? Well, I'll mention as always, getting a little off to a rough start here. I'll mention as always that you can chat in any questions you might have. I usually start these off with some kind of content or topic. And I do have a few things for today, and then we'll do some Q&A. So starting off, I had posted in the Facebook group on Friday a tutorial about how to run a Google display ad for an open house or for anything else you want. And Google display is probably best not for lead generation. So you don't want to do Google display to generate leads because you're going to be disappointed. You're going to have a hard time getting people to click off a Google display banner ad and become a lead. But what it is really good for is retargeting and getting general exposure for stuff. So an example would be an open house or a listing where you just want the neighbors to be aware of this. And I think on our Thursday session, we talked a little bit about how you can run these Google display ads around a set radius, around an address. So in the tutorial on Facebook, if you look, it's March 25th in our Facebook group, I showed how to do that. Now, one thing I wanted to follow up with here and mention was that I did get the ad did get turned off by Google, but only after I got what I needed out of it. And what I needed was just to get some impressions in the market. We got 9 clicks and we got 5,800 impressions, which means that it showed on Google's partner websites, people who have the Google AdSense script installed, 5,800 times. So we got exposure within that 1 mile radius. I might have done 2 miles. Which was very cool. We spent about $20 just for awareness around the open house. But I wanted to follow up and just mention that it did get paused after it ran for a little while for the housing policy. And I can't get this thing. Here we go. Good. It's letting me click finally. But the policy that I violated in the ad was that I chose real estate as a defined audience. So Facebook has Google has these audiences built into the platform that you can choose. And you'll see in my tutorial that I chose real estate, and you're not allowed to do that. That's kind of like, they don't want you picking attributes of the user the same way Facebook does, where you can't really target. But it doesn't really matter because I could have easily just let this run more broadly in that market. I would have gotten more impressions. It doesn't need to be those people who were in the real estate category, so to speak. So if you're trying to do this, just don't choose any targeting, only target based on the location. That's the big takeaway. So if you're sitting there and you weren't on the other day and you have no idea what I'm talking about, just check out the Facebook group later. It was my post from March 25th. You can look through and scroll through and find that. Okay. So what I did have for today, a few other things. One was before we hit the record button today, I was talking about this video from George Gammon, and George goes pretty deep on what might or what could happen with the Fed raising interest rates. And for my money, this is a good angle to take with your existing sphere of influence, the people in your database, if you're trying to create the desire to sell. So if you want to create somebody's need to sell when they didn't have it yesterday, you might be able to do that through education. And the truth is that rates just came up 25 basis points, and they're probably going to come up a little more. And George goes deep on, how high rates might get and what impact rates going up. You can actually see it here right in the whiteboard, what impact the rates going up might have on purchasing power of buyers and what the implications could be for the wider housing market. But I think this would be a really cool thing to post to Facebook or LinkedIn, or do a mass email to your list with, to your database with, and say, hey, interesting video about the housing market. Well, let's just do it, right? If you're thinking about selling, or if you're thinking this could be the top, this could be a good time to sell, reach out to me, something like that, right? And it allows you to use somebody else's content without you having to create it. You're kind of using a third-party source. George happens to be very polished and is a good watch. It's hard not to watch all of his videos if you're interested at all. So you get to leverage somebody else's good work and content, but kind of steer the conversation in your direction. So interesting video from George Gammon about the impact of interest rates on housing markets. And specifically purchasing power of buyers as rates come up. If you're at all thinking about selling your house, or you're worried that this might be the top of the market, and now could be, definitely watch this. I don't know, something like this, right? So I do that. I just post a YouTube video like this. I'm going to shorten this a little. If you're worried that this might be that we might be in a bubble, definitely watch this. And if you decide that you want to sell, let me know. Smiley face, something like that. So, so I'm going to do that and hit post. So that would be a social post, Letitia. So I'm not running a paid Facebook ad to this. Now, I don't know if they would mind if I paid. Now, what you've heard, it's a good point, is that Facebook's algorithm kind of penalizes links that take people out of Facebook. That's what you're talking about. So a good practice might be to put it under the comment, like you're saying. So I could just go, hey, link in comments below. I'm not going to worry so much about it in this case, but yeah, if you're worried about the reach of the post, it could make sense to put the link in the comment. I just think it's silly that Facebook does that, you know, and it doesn't mean your post isn't going to get seen at all. It's just going to get seen maybe by less. Now, the same video and the same text could easily be sent out through KV Core, right? You could make that an email, like your weekly something cool email. And, you know, we talk about incubating and having a little bit of a personality and letting people get to know you by sending something cool at least once a week. So that's something you could do and send out. You can send that video out. So just trying to get myself logged back in here. So I would just go to marketing here, scheduled mass email, and just share, like, you know, hey, video about the housing market, you know, interest rates are coming up, you're thinking about selling, let me know. And if that strikes the right nerve, and we know that this is a conversation that's in the minds of people right now, right? Because it's on CNBC, it's on all the major news channels, rates are coming up, the housing market's as high as ever, so people know. And all you're doing is you're just tapping into that sort of storyline that's out there in the ether, and you're saying, hey, I can be the solution to this. You know, I'm in real estate, I'm here and available. If you want to sell your house before everybody else gets this idea, before the market tanks. Now, it's up to you whether you want to be that alarmist about it. You might not agree that the market's going to come down. If you don't agree with what George says, explain in your email why. You know, just say, hey, I don't really agree, but it's interesting food for thought. I think that homes in Pinellas County, Florida are going to go up because, you know, and I might say, because everybody from California and New York are moving here, so there's lots of pressure upwards, you know. So you could, that's a chance to do that. Well, you can take the other side of George's story. So Letitia's asking, are we able to attach this link? Yeah. So all you would do is in the email you send out or in a blog post, right? I'm just going to do this quickly, but you know, check out this video. And then you could just put the link like this, maybe a couple arrows, and then you can hyperlink it like this. You would highlight, left click, you know, make it blue like that, click the little chain up here, and then put the link to the video in there. You could even go nuts and upload a picture of the video if you want people to be able to click it. That's a little more involved. You know, you take a screenshot of it, upload it right there. But you can definitely do that. Link out to it in the body of your email. Melissa is asking, how do we add our CSV files to KV Core? So you mean your list of past prospects or from other sources, right? You go to Lead Engine right here, and then right up top you have your bulk lead import option. So you click on that, and then you can choose the do-it-yourself option. There's a video that explains it a little bit, but you can always have our team do it as well. You just submit the file, and usually within a day or two. It says average processing time 3 days. I think they can be quicker than that a lot of times. So our lead import team will just get your leads into the system. Yep. Yeah, and now when you import those, you asked if we could add a mailing list. There's settings in here where you can put them in a specific hashtag so that you can mail to that specific list. So that's kind of how you would call it a mailing list, so to speak. Yeah. So that's the other thing I had. So the use of other people's content, you could probably Google around, just a little bit of YouTube foo. I don't know who else lives on YouTube. I live on this thing more than TV for sure. But if you go to like real estate news and you search, you can filter up here. See the top filters? And you could do it based on the upload date. So you're always getting like something that's current events, right? So you go this week. And then you'll have some good stuff, at any time you can take this approach where you're like, hey, here's an interesting video from so-and-so. In the video, they say XYZ. I agree. I don't agree. If you agree, you might want to sell your house, stuff like that. You can always build those kinds of arguments. Meet Kevin's a really good channel too. I believe, I know he's a licensed agent. I believe he might have access to KV Core. I don't know if he's at that company still, but yeah, he's a good one to follow. He's not a real estate guy per se, so you can feel comfortable sharing that. He's not going to steal your customers. But yeah, there's lots of good content on here that you can sort by the date uploaded. Okay, so and then the last thing I had for today, I'm kind of fire hosing you guys a little bit, I guess, was an idea that I'm going to start working on. I don't know that it's against like code of ethics. Maybe somebody can let me know. I'll have to talk to my broker. Are we allowed to bribe people to do stuff? So the idea I had was I wanted to do this homeowner survey and get people to answer a bunch of questions to generate a listing lead. And when they complete the survey, send them a $20 Home Depot gift card, which I would do. Thanks.io has these gift cards now that I would automatically trigger in the mail, once somebody completes the survey. So I'll share the link to this. And it's just an idea, guys, I'm sharing. And basically, I just used Google Forms. So in Google Drive, you can create this totally for free. You could use other form generators if you want, but I figured if I showed it on Google Forms, it's something everybody can do. And Google Forms is fairly robust. It's gotten better and better. But I start off saying, how long have you owned your Pinellas County home? We want to always start a survey like this with some kind of easy, low barrier to entry engagement question that has to do with them. So this is something somebody can answer real quick, like, yeah, I've been there 6 years. They click, in your opinion, do you think that Pinellas property values will go higher in the next year? I'm asking another question to engage more. Are you thinking about selling your home in the next year or so? Right, here's where we're trying to create a lead for ourselves, right? Know a little bit more about them, whether they're worth following up. If they say yes, they're definitely going to sell. We might pay a little more attention to this survey result. And then we ask another question: would you like to receive a monthly email alert anytime one of your neighbors sells their house? So you can always gauge the value of yours. That might be too wordy, but now we're asking basically permission to email them sold transactions. Would you like a detailed report that shows what your house might sell for in today's market? I think I might have one too many questions. Sometimes you need a little space away from these. I built this morning, and then you realize like maybe I don't need this monthly email alert, but who knows? And then finally at the end, I get the street address and then the email address, like so. So this is just an idea that I'm going to work on, and I'm going to try running Facebook traffic at it at some point this week, and I'll kind of share with you guys along the way as we go. But the actual creation of this, you can do in Google Forms. You can see in the settings under the presentation section here, you can set a quick confirmation message. I do think you can redirect, I forget how to do that, to another URL, but it just says, thanks for completing the survey. We'll get your $20 gift card in the mail tomorrow. If you agree to receive other info, we'll send it by email soon. So that's what'll happen after they submit it. And the way that I'll actually deliver what they asked for would be via Zapier. So if I go into Zapier.com, and this is a little next level, I realize, guys, a little more advanced, but what we're doing here is we're using a third-party piece of software, a form generator, Google Forms, and then we're going to tie this to KV Core into some other stuff to do the automation. So if I create a Zap here, my triggers app would be Google Forms. Would be a new response. choose my, oops, I got to connect my Gmail account. Pretty sure I used my personal Gmail. And then it wants the spreadsheet. Now, one step that I may have forgotten, and I did, was that when you build a Google form, it needs to be connected to a spreadsheet in Google. And there's an easy way to do that. Just forgetting off the top of my head. Look, give me 1 second here. I used to know how to do this. Here we go. Okay, so yes. So you click this little green icon here, and then you create a new spreadsheet. And I knew it was like a quick little step, but you need the spreadsheet to be created here in order for it to work with Zapier. So now I can take this, I'll hit refresh here, so it should be able to find it. It's the right account. I added it. Oh, I added it after, so it's not finding it for me. But what I wanted to show you guys was that I can now take these results and push them into KV Core. That's the main takeaway here. There it is. Now it's showing up. Now we can get moving. Choose worksheet number 1. Test the trigger. There's not going to be anything there because I haven't filled it out yet. Hit skip test. And then our action will be KV Core. And what I can do is I can push these new contacts into KV Core as a lead. So I'll choose my account. And then you can start to map over the information. Now, and then a lot of times you'll build a Zap and you'll realize, oh, I didn't collect their name. So there is no name here. So I might want to either put that in there, or if I don't want to collect the name, I could just put the street address as the first name. Probably not ideal. And then I can start mapping over the other info here. So you push everything into KV Core. The way to get the other form responses into KV Core would be to do it as a note right here. So I could take each of those, click through each response like so. Just a tip there, you want to kind of, so you know what it is, you do like how long owned home, colon, and then it'll inject whatever data was there. So you go through like that. And then to send the gift card, you add another event, and then you would use whatever you're using to send the gift card. In this example, I would use thanks.io. So I could do send gift card, choose the account. And then go through that. So I'm not going to go super into the nitty gritty, but I just wanted to share with you guys kind of the construction of a funnel using a third-party page. We get a lot of questions around our landing pages, like, can I get additional fields? Well, you can't through our landing page generator, but you can use anything you want. In this case, Google Forms, and you can see I'm asking all kinds of questions. I can collect all kinds of data, and then I can just use Zapier to get that pushing into KV Core. Okay. So, and then I can also push that data anywhere else I want to do other things, you know, in this case, sending the gift card. So does that make sense for everybody? Is that, I kind of showed it on the surface there. And the reason I'm showing it on the surface is because everybody's going to do this a little differently. But just know that it's possible to do. You can create a third-party form, trigger stuff in the mail, get the leads into KV Core. You could even use Zapier to send an auto text or do a bunch of other stuff. Patricia's saying it could be very expensive to do at $20. Yeah, I always get this around the gift cards, but that's the math in real estate. You know, so I'm thinking, so I would say I run a Facebook ad and it costs me $10 on Facebook or $20 on Facebook. Call it $20 to get somebody to fill this out because they want the free gift card. And I get 100 people. You know, I'm thinking big here. I get 100 people and I send $120 gift cards. Keep in mind, I'm not going to pay until the gift card's redeemed. So a lot of people won't redeem the gift card. But say I get 100 people and I spend $2,000 on this campaign total, you know, counting the ads and the gift cards. Well, if a handful of those people say they're going to sell, I have really good contact info. We're basically building that $20 per gift card into the cost of generating a seller lead. And if the average seller lead ends up costing us $100, $200, $300, even $400, I mean, in some markets, that makes a lot of sense. And we all know what Zillow is charging, right? And there are a lot of people paying a lot of money to Zillow every year, top producers who know that it ROI. So yeah, definitely it's going to cost something, but you know, if you want listing leads in this day and age, we got to get creative. Yeah. That's the pitch for every expense. That's the truth. That's business. Like, that's it. And that's what without going 200 on a rant here, like, that's the thing with real estate. That's why 10% of the people make 90% of the money, because 90% of people don't think like this. But every top producer I know spends the money ahead of making the money. And that's just it. Or they spend the time. You could do that too. You know, you can hustle with your time to do it. That said, don't offer a gift card. Right? You can do it any way you want. I don't want to get too distracted by the economics. Just see if you can get the survey filled out without offering anything. So. Yeah. And yeah, that's a lot of people only try things one time too. But you know, the people who lead markets generally find one or two methods and they stick to it. And you know, if you ask them, they took some risks in the beginning. This is like any business though. You take some risks in the beginning, you max out your credit cards, or you do whatever you need to do because you're focused and you're not going to fail at this thing, and you just do it. And yeah, you go spend, maybe you do go spend $1,000 and you send 50, $20 gift cards. At least you've gotten really good contact info of 20, you know, of those people in your market. You don't want to make sure you follow up. And maybe it doesn't work, but you try enough of these flows and something's going to hit. A drawing could work. Good idea, Dennis. So get entered to win a drawing for a $20 gift card. Yeah, that's cool. That's a way around that. So complete the survey and get entered to win a $20 gift card. Now, what you could do, win a $100 gift card, right? Since you're only going to give away one. Drawing, you know, then you want to be more specific. Drawing this Friday 4/1, you know, at 12 p.m. East. Just be careful. I don't know, you know, about contest rules and things like that, like drawings. I don't know how that works, but. But yeah, I didn't mean to. Yes, it would cost money to do this. It's true. But you know, the math, man, you know, it's hard to get listings now. And the math in this industry is just nice. It just works. There's a lot of margin for error, I guess we would say. There's a lot of room for error with the average commission size being what it is, you know, the average side. Okay, so I think, guys, that's what I had for today, but I am going to test this out so you don't have to, you can wait and see whether or not this crashes and burns for me or whether it works. But I'll test this out over the coming days and see if I can get anybody to fill out these surveys. The other seller lead generation I've been doing always falls a little flat because we're always trying to get somebody who's not very motivated to sell their house, you know, to do stuff, to get a free report or something. So it's a longer term game that you need to stick to for a while. So I just want to see here if we can go a little more direct. You know, this lead will be higher quality because I will know whether they want to sell their house. I'll have the address. I'll know how long they've been there. I'll know, I'll have permission to send a more detailed report, you know, things like that. So, okay. So does anybody have anything you'd like to kind of cover today? I'll scroll back up and try to miss any questions. Top. I don't see anything. We can go take a look at the Facebook group and see what people are talking about while we wait for some questions. Oh, I'm getting people liking my link already. That's cool. So somebody saw it. Facebook, Facebook let somebody see it. But you're right. Sometimes I'll post something and it's a link out and it'll be super crickets. Nothing will happen. But if you post a video with no links out or something like it's organic content on Facebook, then people will see it. Yeah, some people are seeing it. I just don't know. I think the algorithm penalizes you to some extent. Maybe less people see it, but it's definitely seen by some. Um, so Patricia's saying, I mentioned I like video ask, talk more about the product. Well, it's just it's kind of like a messenger bot on your website. And the best way I can do and where I've used it the most since you asked it is on banks.io. So you can see here, if you click, you can record a video and you can take people through a tree of responses. So you can pretty much do the survey flow. I could easily have done the homeowner survey for a gift card using this platform where I'm on video as soon as they click and I'm explaining what they're going to get. Like, hey, it could be holding the gift card and say, hey, if you fill out the survey, yeah, and then they can answer questions and take actions here and tree through. So that's what video ask does. It's also useful for collecting testimonials because you can have people click and leave you a testimonial and record videos on the fly. So I have not implemented this on my real estate website yet. Raphael brought it up a few times. That's why it was coming up, Patricia. But yeah, if you want to have like a little chat bot here, or if you want to use it to generate leads, it's a pretty versatile tool. But it's basically a form generator. To explain it a little better and clearer, it's a form creation tool that uses video along the way. So you can embed videos in your forms. Sure, Letitia. Letitia's asking, can you go over squeeze page posting? So how to make them and how to post them to Facebook maybe, and to LinkedIn. So yeah, where to post them. Okay. So you could post them anywhere you think somebody would be who wants to buy or sell a house, right? We want to do, but some specifics, and for context for everybody else who's watching who might not have tried this technique yet, but we talk a lot about maybe just building a squeeze link of the day, right? Or a property of the day, a squeeze of the property list of the day. So I'll click here and I'll go build squeeze page. I'll build a quick list of something. So I'll just choose my county. Let's do mobile homes. Generate a link. And one place I recommend posting them is on your organic Facebook feed, because that's where everybody who knows you is. A lot of people who know you are. So you could use the link that way. You could head over to LinkedIn. Do the same thing. So I could do Pinellas property list of the day, mobile homes. Right, something like that. Now, if you're asking where to post these in order to generate higher volumes of leads, then you're going to start to think about paid traffic sources. So Facebook ads, Google ads, yeah, things like that. So you would create the link. So I think you were saying you wanted to see a Google campaign. So let's pretend we're running let's run a quick Google ad for a squeeze link. This is kind of, if you buy our Google product from the marketplace to generate leads, this is almost exactly what you're getting, right? Not exactly, because it's a little more general on the listing type, but let's just say we're going to create a list of golf homes. We've been liking that example. So I'm going to go to options. I will set I'll make it an immediate registration. My source is going to be Google PPC. My hashtag is going to be golf homes. I'm going to do golf homes Google so I know what it is. And now I build my link. And then now I take my link and I go to a traffic source. In this case, we'll go to Google. We'll run a campaign. It's taking a minute to load up here. This Google has been doing this. It's kind of glitching out with the Brave browser. Perhaps that's my issue. That would be interesting. Letitia's saying, could I post a squeeze link on the Google My Business page as a product? Yeah, definitely. If they allow you multiple links, I haven't looked at Google My Business in a while. But if they allow you multiple links, that would definitely be a good approach. Use your squeeze links there for sure. Sorry, I want to try this on Chrome. Patricia, Raphael was the only person I knew about. I'll make a quick video ask for tomorrow's session and put it on my KV Core website, but I don't have one right now because it's just like a third party. It's not something we've talked about a lot. I just happen to have an account when Raphael mentioned it. So I'll click new campaign here. Hopefully it works in this browser better. Come on, Google. It's interesting. This seems to happen. And I don't know why it would be, but it seems to happen when I'm on Zoom on these sessions because I use Google all day and I never really have an issue getting onto their campaign creation pages unless I have Zoom live with a screen share. So maybe it's just something about my environment. It's blocking us out here. Or maybe it's just me needing to be more patient. There we go. So what we'll do is we'll choose leads. Continue. And we're going to choose search. Do website visits. We'll put in our site. So we'll call this Golf Homes. There we go. We'll spend $10 a day. I'm not going to set a target cost per action. I like to get rid of these. We're just running a simple Google ad here, but it would look the same no matter what traffic source. We're just going to drive traffic off of one of these networks onto our squeeze link to generate leads. So my location, I could choose all the United States if I want. And then it assumes that I want these different things, but really all I want, and this is a key thing about running Google ads for niche focused searches, real estate, St. Petersburg. So usually what I do is I just pick a few of the short tail, the main keywords that people would search for. So I'm trying to get it to suggest a few more, but really I can manually type in. You can see over here it says 3 clicks a day. So all right, so you could take time to add more. And then what we're going to do is we're going to, here's our URL. And then we're going to do St. Pete, Florida golf course homes. So what I like to do is take the niche, and for anybody searching those main key terms, I put that niche in. So you notice here I click this little pin, and I made that the position 1. So it'll always show first, that line. Priced from below 400s. Put that in position 2. See the list now. So I'm doing this quickly, but this is really all you need. I have one of each line, and if you want, Google does like you to give them other headlines to kind of rotate into each section, but that's more or less it. And then we do in our description, see a complete current list of St. Pete, Florida homes on golf courses. Yeah. So what'll happen is anytime somebody's searching for those keywords that you saw me type in, right? St. Pete, Florida homes, and so on, that ad's going to pop up, but it's going to offer golf homes specifically. So it's kind of an interesting thing off the side. All the other competitors are just running generic ads like St. Pete, Florida homes, St. Pete, Florida real estate, but we're going to run golf homes. And this cracks me up. They keep too few elements in this collection. They want more descriptions and headlines to make the ad more robust. So I just need to go back and do that. Sure. Go back to the ads. Let's try that again. But Letitia, to answer your question, that's the long and short of it. You take a squeeze link and you drive the traffic at it. For whatever reason, this works really well with Google search traffic to run a direct click to a KV Core squeeze link using roughly the format you just saw me do. You'll get a 9 to 12%. The average across the country, last time I checked, it was like 10.5, 11% conversion rate if you do exactly what I just did. If you do it from Facebook, you'll get like a 2% conversion rate. It's just totally different. I think Facebook sends a lot of bad traffic, or it's interrupted, low intent traffic, and it doesn't work as good, but it works and has worked since 2013 or 14 to KV conversion and now KV Core sites very consistently at the same rate. So it will convert well. And I would say that this is your surest fire way to get leads from a squeeze link, from somebody who's actively looking for real estate in your market. This is probably where I would start with my advertising dollar if you're doing something on your own. Next to this and using Facebook lead forms where you collect a name, email, phone number on the platform. Those are my top two. Man, I wish this would load faster, but what I wanted to show you was, showed a lot. We've had this one new construction campaign running for a while, and I think our leads are coming in at like $9 or $10 steady. The recording will be on the YouTube channel, Letitia. It'll be on insiderealestate.com/webinars. realestate.com/webinars. Yeah, we've done that a lot, Roger. Videos showing how to do a single property squeeze page and post it to social media. There's actually a whole class in the learning portal. So I'm going to leave that for now. But if you go into courses, it's this simple social media posting protocol. Now, I made that 3 or 4 years ago, this course, but I'm pretty sure it's still in there. I mean, I'm pretty sure it's all pretty much the same. We also do this this process. Everybody who's here a lot will know. We post something to social usually once or twice a week. So like last week, we definitely did that. For what did we do it for? We did it for some list. Oh, we did it for a map-based search last week. So maybe I'll just give you the video of that. That might cut right to the chase instead of making you take a whole course. Where'd it go? Oh, I put that only in next level. Okay. Yeah, sorry. Here, this has a Valentine's Day social post. I think we did something like buy your wife a house or something. That one. That's great. Patricia's saying she read Ryan Levesque's book or started it. Now I see why you're asking so much about Video Ask. It is a good tool for his flow. That it would work well. You could use Google Forms for his. He has a great software called Bucket.io that follows his methodology too, that he built for his methodology for quiz funnels. But there's lots of these things out there. So Letitia's saying it takes some time. It seems more effective than Zillow. That's a good point. Think about Zillow. I would put Zillow and Google on a similar footing in terms of lead quality. And I don't want to get too far into whether or not Zillow is reselling the leads. I don't even know what they're doing now. But just think about the consumer behavior when they're on Zillow at least you've got somebody who's actively looking at real estate at the moment. So the quality should be okay. So if they're on Zillow searching, I'm just going to click around here until I get some kind of ad from an, if I click contact agent or take a tour, the intent is pretty good there. And then the same with Google. If I'm on google.com and I'm typing Tampa, Florida condos, like I'm actively looking for that thing. The frustration people have with Facebook leads is that somebody's just browsing on their feed, looking at cat pictures or having a fight with their friends about politics, all the things people do on Facebook. And then they suddenly see a real estate ad. They're just interrupted and like, oh, that's interesting. I'll click that. Yeah, we're looking at Will Smith smack Chris Rock. And then they just see a real estate ad and they click it, but they weren't looking for that thing at the moment. So the intent of a Facebook lead, it tends to be lower. Now, the trade-off there is that I can generate a bunch of Facebook leads with name, email, phone number for about $3 a piece at the high end, and so you can play the numbers game where if I'm on Google, I'm up in the $10 to $20 range. And then if I'm on Zillow, who knows, I might be paying $50 a lead these days. I don't know. Letitia, I have no idea whether Zillow shares the leads or if they're exclusive or not. That's what I was saying. I don't know about that part of what they're doing. The advantage to you running your own traffic, which is what we talk about here on Next Level a lot, is that you have control, but you also need to put in the time to learn how to do it. And you're taking on the risk financially, but and you have control to turn your ads off and on from minute to minute. You can test it creative. If you come into our marketplace where we have lots of great ad products that will generate you good contact info, you are limited by the confines of that product. So if you want to take control and control the budget from day to day and get a little more creative, definitely doing it yourself is an option. I will plug our marketplace stuff though while I'm on the topic, because why not? Our smart social leads are really cool, guys. If you want to run carousel ads for a group of listings, if you need leads for a whole team or a whole brokerage, definitely check this one out. I like it a lot. And then you have our managed Google pay-per-click. We have our Get Seller Leads product and Facebook AI advertising and retargeting there as well. And don't forget about Property Boost. You could build a whole business just doing Property Boosts. I promise. If you only focused on Property Boost and you just, invested a few thousand, am I thinking too big? If you said, hey, I'm gonna spend $1,000 on Property Boost leads, that would probably get you a couple hundred leads in that neighborhood. And you followed up with them diligently, I think you'd get ROI. No guarantees, but I feel good about saying that. And what you're generating is name, email, phone of people in your homeowners and renters in your local market, opting into your system all day. And as far as I've heard, when people talk about having success with KV Core from our marketplace products, Property Boost is the one I hear the most positive about. Whew. All right, Aleem's asking, when are you doing other webinars? I do them my slot is 2 p.m. East, Monday through Thursday. So if you look at the live training calendar right here, you can pick your time zone, but I am this session right here, the 2 p.m. Next Level Strategy session. So good way to maybe we'll close it out for today, guys. Just a reminder, these are a little more advanced, so if you're just coming to KV Core and you're like, what the heck is this guy talking about? I just needed the basics. That session happens Monday through Thursday, an hour before. That's our quick start series. And it just repeats every week, the same 4 classes that'll get you going with the basics. And then you'll come on here and hear me jump all over the place and talk too fast and all that other stuff and take Q&A. Cool. Thanks, Aleem. Okay, guys, with that, I'm going to call it a day, and we'll see you guys tomorrow at 2. I'm going to try to get an ad up for this homeowner survey. In the meantime, let's see if I can get it approved and if I can get any responses and if I don't go broke buying $20 gift cards. All right, guys, see you tomorrow at 2 o'clock.